Tickles get bicycles is nice.
The Chimes of Big Ben first aired in October of 1967 to over 11 million viewers.
Start again. Sorry. It's too cute. Okay. Too cute. Don't like it.
Whose side are you on? That would be telling.
Although the second episode of The Prisoner, it was filmed later on in the schedule and most definitely should have been further along in this 17-part series.
I am not a number. I am a free man.
That being said, let's dive, or at least scuba dive, into this tapestry of espionage, existentialism, allegory, and the eternal struggle for individuality against the faceless machine of authority.
And what a lovely day it is. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
Before we crack on, I must add this amusing anecdote regarding the rock band Maiden. The band had to go through McKernan to obtain the rights to the dialogue that starts their song, The Prisoner. According to manager Rod Smallwood and the band, he was put forward to telephone McKernan to ask for permission to use the famous dialogue. Rod got through and was quite nervous as he told Pat what the band needed. There was a pregnant pause of silence before McKernan asked, "What did you say the name was?" "Iron Maiden, Mr. McKernan." Again, a long silence. Then just 2 words followed. "Do it." The album went on to become a major hit throughout the world, and Iron Maiden revisited The Prisoner later on their Power Slave album with the song Back in the Village.
Information. You won't get it.
After the exciting intro, which was only the second time viewers would have seen this.
Where am I? In the village.
We see number 6 being woken up by a radio announcement, voiced again by Fenella Fielding.
The long-range weather forecast is that the fine spell will continue for at least another month.
I like it when she says, "Your local council, democratically elected by you."
And remember, it is your local council, democratically elected by you.
The illusion of choice to bring in another level of dictators who can spend your taxes on a useless piece of sculpture outside the town hall, but can't fix the potholes in the roads or get the graffiti painted over. At least the village was kept clean and tidy.
Force, which says I have a spirit of my own, a mind of my own, a soul of my own. And it's not all my own because it's joined with a greater force beyond me. I don't think he got up every morning and analyzed it to that extent, but I think that that force is within him.
The premise of this episode, if taken literally, is the cajolement of the prisoners to join in with the fun and to be happy campers in the village. This reminds me of the school prizes that were given out every year. I won the art prize in year 1 and couldn't be asked to go back in the evening. School, 2 times in 1 day. You can F off. I won the same art prize 5 years on the trot. Never went back to pick up my prizes. I can imagine my so-called teacher's exasperation over this. Why is the ungrateful little sod not playing the game?
He can make even the act of putting on his dressing gown appear as a gesture of defiance.
The village is as surreal as ever, a pastel-coloured simulation of freedom, concealing layers of control.
I want him with a whole heart, body and soul.
Enter the new number 2, masterly portrayed by Leo McKernan, whose commanding presence and sardonic wit elevate the character to an almost Shakespearean antagonist, someone like Falstaff.
If he will answer one simple question, the rest will follow. Why did he resign?
McKernan's number 2 is more than a bureaucratic puppet. He exudes an air of intelligence and cunning, hinting that he might almost respect number 6's resilience, although he is determined to break him.
But tell me when it's due. I want to meet it.
He certainly appreciates number 6's sense of humour. Leo McKernan was actually an Aussie, and sadly at the age of 15, a piece of metal flew into his eye at work, and he eventually had to have it out. As we all know, McKernan then went on to work with Peter Falk, who also had a glass eye.
I respectfully request that you do not harass me. We have similar jobs in a way. I wear a uniform, you wear a... I suppose you could call that a uniform.
What are the chances of that? Probably none today, as pretty boy, girl actors will always come before actual talent in auditions. Peter Falk became good friends with McKernan, an achievement in itself, and he once gave him one of his glass eyes with a note saying, "Be seeing you." I will always remember Leo McKernan as the portly and pugnacious rumpole of the Bailey. I think he and Brian Blessed have two of the most recognisable voices of all time.
I really must bring your file up to date.
We can clearly see that when McKernan liked a fellow actor, he stored them away, as it were, to work with at a later date. McKernan would obviously make a return visit for Once Upon a Time and Fallout. If anyone has all the Danger Man shows, have a perusal through all the episodes and see how many faces you can recognise from both shows. I counted over 50.
What did she report before she died?
That's my department.
Most would probably have been oh, yep, they're available, but a few were definite mutual admiration picks. Finlay Curry, who plays the General, he added a layer of bureaucratic authority to the episode.
You're a fool, number 6. That's my opinion.
Enhancing the theme of institutional control. When his character is on screen, you know he's a lifer. Someone probably happy is there.
No point in fighting battles you can't win.
Perhaps you came here of your own free will?
And although number 6 quizzes him on which regiment he's served with, we at least know he was in the British Army.
Wish I'd had you in my regiment for a few months.
Which regiment was that?
Oh, the joy one can have when remembering all this is allegorical, a psychiatric's wet dream of analysis.
I can never remember. 1 lump or 2?
It's in the file.
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes.
While I watch number 2 having tea with number 6, I have to give a shout out to little Angelo Muscat for his role as the silent buckler. Angelo had previously acted in Doctor Who and the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour. Sadly, he found life tough in his later years, living all alone in a small flat. Apart from Snow White and Willy Wonka, he couldn't really find much work, and he had to make ornate bird cages to make a living. Quite ironic him making cages.
There was always the possibility that he might be number 1. So I don't know if anyone, did you pick up that at all? I don't know. But that, because he was such a good friend and always by the side of number 6, that there should have been an implication that perhaps he was a sinister character. And particularly in the last episode, when he's the one that goes out with number 6 and they go into the house. Maybe he's over number 1 somewhere. You know, they have they have stars, superstars, and what are they going to call them next? Comets? So whatever, maybe he's a comet or something, little Angelo. So there should be that remaining sinister thing about it there.
And for anyone wondering if Angelo could actually speak, yes, he could.
This is Sergeant Jones here from Squad 18. Please come in.
Although number 6 isn't falling for the "just tell us why you resigned and we'll let you go," he's given a brief view of another fresh prisoner's introduction to the village.
Quite recovered? No ill effects from the journey, I trust?
Who is it? Where am I?
As in Arrival, we're also introduced to the concept of work units, or in modern-day parlance, the social credit system, which is already rearing its ugly head in communist states.
Special merit award of 2,000 work units for the best work in any of the 5 groups.
Enter Nadia, played by Nadia Gray, a fellow prisoner whose apparent vulnerability contrasts with number 6's steely demeanour. Her arrival is no accident. It's a carefully orchestrated piece of psychological manipulation. Gray, a Romanian-born actress known for a cosmopolitan charm, imbues Nadia with a mystique that keeps viewers guessing about her true allegiance. From the first meeting, the chemistry between number 6 and Nadia crackles with mutual suspicion.
Who are these people? Why are they here?
Why are you?
Their dialogue together is sharp, laden with double meanings, but also sets the stage for the game to come.
Sorry, no name. I am number 6. You are number 8.
I didn't think it would be like this.
Nadia's feigned sympathy draws number 6 into the illusion of solidarity, but as we shall see, it's only one of the first of many layers in this episode's intricate narrative.
Now, this overriding evil force is at its most powerful within ourselves, and we have constantly to fight it, I think.
Additionally, McKernan and Gray had previously collaborated in the film Mr. Topaz, directed and starring Peter Sellers. This earlier partnership likely contributed to their on-screen chemistry in The Prisoner. Perhaps McKernan didn't feel as much at ease with Nadia, and he used his daughter for the stand-in scenes with the nearly romantic head-to-head shots.
Non-alcoholic vodka. 16 work units. I hope there's nothing significant in that.
There's a great scene between number 6 and number 2, where the latter is telling us that one central cabal runs the world, with the illusion of different sides competing against each other.
A perfect blueprint for world order.
And in one of the most prophetic lines of the whole series, number 2 adds, his dream is to see the whole world as the village.
The whole earth as the village. Yes. That is my hope.
Think about that in today's world where nation-states are frowned upon and people are systematically having their liberties eroded under the constant cold glass eye, no joke intended, of surveillance cameras. This wasn't just drama, this was a goddamn warning. After being in just the right place at the right time, number 6 sees Nadia's apparent swim into oblivion until Rover and its baby chicks, or eggs, drags her back to the shore.
I always wanted to know what was going to happen with the balloon, but nobody could tell me.
The balloon thing, which has been made a great deal of.
Rover.
Rover, yes. Now, the reason that happened, and again, it's like the Western. We had this marvelous piece of machinery that was being built, which was going to be Rover, you know, and this thing was like a hovercraft, and it would go underwater, come up on the beach, climb walls, it could do anything. This was our original Rover. By the first day of shooting, unfortunately, the engineers, mechanics, and scientific geniuses hadn't quite completed it to perfection. And the first day of shooting, Rover was supposed to go down off the beach into the water, do a couple of signals, a couple of wheel spins, and come back up. But it went down into the water and stayed down permanently. And
Number 2 then allows our hero to observe Nadia's being brain-trained into compliance.
What are you doing to her? Nothing, as you can see. Oh, there's an alternating current in the floor.
Playing on his sympathy for the girl.
No, switch off! Switch off!
Number 6's participation in the villagers' art competition, producing a modernist piece that is in fact a boat in disguise.
It means what it is.
Brilliant. It means what it is.
Is a masterstroke of defiance. This sequence is a satirical jab at the absurdity of conformity, as village citizens create insipid art to curry favour with their overlords.
Remarkably high standard, don't you agree?
Or highly original.
It also demonstrates number 6's ingenuity and subversive wit.
The barrier's down, the door is open, you're free. Free to go.
Leo McKern's number 2 plays his role to perfection here, feigning geniality while subtly pressing for cracks in number 6's armour. His appreciation for number 6's supposed artistic talent is laced with irony, a verbal fencing match, literally shown in Once Upon a Time, between two intellectual equals.
Fellow citizens, my work is its own satisfaction.
Spoken like a true artist.
At the art competition, I like the general's exhibit being the chess set. Being a general is probably being used to seeing his military assets as various chess pieces in one big game of war.
Yes, I quite like the king, I must confess.
The king?
There's also the Stockholm Syndrome from the other competitors who have used number 2's image within their work. Some people love being prisoners of the state and being told what to do.
We're run by Madison Avenue. We're run by television. And as long as we accept those things and don't revolt, we'll have to go along with the stream to the eventual avalanche.
Peter Swanwick also gets a good run in this episode with his Orange Alert dialogue.
Orange Alert. Orange Alert.
Although he's wearing a number 28 badge, he's never referred to by his number, which was ever so briefly number 27 later on due to a props gaffe. In real life, Peter was one of the first British troops onto the beaches at D-Day. Today, most people think an actor is brave for coming out as gay or filming a scene in cold weather. It's also been rumoured that the number badges had some deeper meaning, but for the most part, that's not true. Indeed, some numbers are used by different actors throughout the series, with some being black and not white. The props department were, very busy, and no one had the ability to tape, then digitally record TV, so no one noticed at the time. Back to the story.
Sail?
By boat. You going?
With Nadia's help, number 6 has hatched a daring plan to escape, utilising his artwork as a vessel. The build-up to their escape is tense, with the production's use of minimalistic music heightening the suspense.
If your geography is correct, just around the next headland.
The sea voyage is an exercise in futility. However, as number 6 learns too late that he has been manipulated all along.
Look!
Swim for it. I swim for it!
Their freedom culminates in confrontation with number 2 back in the village.
Colonel?
All right.
This cruel twist exemplifies the series' overarching theme, the illusion of freedom. In The Prisoner, every apparent victory is revealed to be another layer of control, a chilling commentary on the pervasive reach of authority.
I risked my life and hers to come back here, home, because I thought it was different. It is, isn't it? Isn't it different?
I couldn't help feeling after watching this section of the show of how pissed off I would have been to have gone through all that. Days being cramped in that wooden box, not knowing who or what was going to meet me after the unravel. We'll leave out how they went to the toilet. We also learn that some of number 6's colleagues are also involved with the village. Not all, being the intelligence service with its compartmentalisation methods, but now he knows he can't trust anybody, on the inside or out.
And then, after a gap of months, we suddenly receive a suitably coded message that you're coming back from the other side of the Iron Curtain.
You think I've gone over?
And come back here to carry on the good work.
He doesn't even know whether his prior colleagues have turned and now work for some other side. How do you get out of this one?
Yes, I've seen a copy of the deciphered message. What time would you say? Good. I guess I can't wait to see him.
Again, the allegorical observations are deeply profound. After number 6 strolls into the view of number 2 and Nadia, we see him more resignedly disappointed rather than angry.
seeing you?
It can be a sort of be seeing a friend, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, be seeing you with expectation of pleasant times ahead. And it can be seeing you, long journey, somebody going away. And it can be a threat, be seeing you. And all sorts of things. But mainly, the thing about it here, in the context of The Prisoner, was that it was be seeing you, meaning that there was this constant surveillance. That when you were asleep, when you were having your dreams, someone was picking your dreams.
Then the village announcer gives him the final kick in the balls. Our next competition is Seascapes.
Your local council wishes to announce another exciting competition.
Don't you feel that our politicians and media are actually trolling us for laughs? The Chimes of Big Ben is a microcosm of the series' central conflict, the individual's fight against a system that seeks to reduce them to a mere cog in the machine.
I told you.
Don't worry. It was a good idea and you did your best. I'll stress it in my report.
McKernan himself emphasised that The Prisoner was an allegory for the dangers of totalitarianism, the erosion of personal freedoms.
What was the purpose, the goal?
I think it's going on every day all around us. I had to sign in to get into this joint.
Me
downstairs,
too.
yeah.
Made you angry too?
Slightly, yeah. Yes.
Right.
Pass keys, you know, and let's go down to the basement and all this. That's prisonership as far as I'm concerned. And that makes me mad. And that makes me rebel. And that's what The Prisoner was doing, was rebelling against that type of thing.
But can you, in everyday life, can you summon the will and the energy to rebel every time that
you
petty
can't.
indignity occurs?
You can't, otherwise you go crazy. You have to live with it. That's what makes us prisoners.
The episode's title evokes Big Ben, a symbol of British tradition and order.
Thank you. That will be all.
Juxtaposed against the chaos of Number 6's predicament, parallels to modern society abound, from ubiquitous surveillance to the insidious influence of social media algorithms.
They can see us, but they can't hear us. You can talk freely.
The struggle to maintain individuality in a world that demands conformity remains as relevant today as it was in 1967.
That's the sort of thing. I mean, join in.
I'll make you a handle for this door.
You'll be back.
Oh, and it always pays to have an analogue wristwatch.
My watch says 8.
So?
I was given this watch by a man in Poland.
Written by Vincent Tilsley, The Chimes of Big Ben was praised for its clever script and layered performances. It really is a good show. Reviews of the time noted its subversive take on Cold War paranoia, with the Times calling it a cerebral chess game disguised as a spy thriller. Behind the scenes, McKernan's insistence on creative control led to some clashes with cast and crew, and we wonder whether one of these vibrant discussions concerned the change in ending for this episode. McKernan insisted on a darker ending.
We had a couple of humdingers, and I think it's always a good idea to have, if you're going to have a scrap, have a big one and get it out of the way, and so that everyone knows we're all on the same boat. Because that, if the fight goes the wrong way, verbal, of course, all verbal, then it's time for that person to say, well, I'm leaving by another boat.
The Chimes of Big Ben is more than a television episode. It's a philosophical treatise on freedom, control, and the human spirit.
When there's 1 hour's difference!
Maybe he was slow.
I'll bet he was.
Its clever writing, standout performances, and enduring themes ensure its place as a masterpiece of 20th century television. So, for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee.
Because I've done my best to confuse you. But, you know, we'll keep trying, won't we? Be seeing you.